This is probably a really unpopular opinion, even though I've heard some people say it. This is probably going to get me a lot of nasty comments and feedback. I personally do not believe that addiction or alcoholism stems from a lack of willpower, and I don't think that it's a discipline issue, like at all. If you're new here, my name's Amanda. I am a recovering alcoholic. I used to drink vodka and take kratom all day, every day for about 3 years straight. So why do I say that? I want you to imagine someone in the middle of the ocean clinging to a piece of wood. That's their only way that they're staying afloat as of right now. I want you to imagine, however you want to imagine it, somehow talking to that person, trying to convince them to let go of that log or that piece of wood, that they're going to die if they stay there. They need to swim to safety, which is within their reach, but they're not letting go. Is that a lack of willpower or discipline? Or is that closer to someone who doesn't believe they can do it, who doesn't know how to do it? They don't even know how to swim. They're doing what feels safe. They are clinging to the one thing that has been providing safety to them for X amount of time, and it's all they know. It's all they trust. I don't think that any of that has to do with a person's ability to have discipline. I don't think it has anything to do with a person's character or strength. It's definitely based on decision making. You know, I did so many disgusting things in my addiction, but my addiction itself, my reliance on alcohol and kratom, had absolutely nothing to do with my willpower. I have done a lot of things in my life that were painful. I have done things that were completely against my own best interest. When I was 13, I was put on a diet by someone in my family because they thought I was too overweight, and it was like the keto Atkins, but back then it was like the hardcore version. Like, it was basically the carnivore diet. I was like 13 years old. I dropped like 40 pounds in a little over a month, and I kept it off. That took a lot of discipline. As a kid who was very alone, very introverted, very insecure, food had become my only comfort. I was able to shift because I decided that I was more uncomfortable hating myself and my body. And by the way, I still hated myself and my body even after I lost the weight, because it changed this, but it didn't change this. Kind of like addiction. There was a time in my 20s that I was working a full-time job, 40 hours a week or more. I was going to college. I would have to wake up at 2:30 in the morning, be at work at about 3:30 in the morning, work until 12:30 or 1, go to the gym because I had to get a workout in, then go to my class, come home, clean, cook, do the laundry, do whatever I had to do my homework, go to bed, and wake up and do the exact same thing every day. That took a lot of willpower. That was hard. That was so hard. Looking back, I actually don't know how I did that as a very low energy person. So back to my point, addiction and alcoholism, it doesn't just happen to people who are lazy or who just have no discipline in their lives, or who are people who are morally flawed. They're just bad people. They're just nasty. They look like someone who would be an alcoholic. They look like someone who would be a drug addict. Addiction can literally happen to anyone. You find something that makes you feel good enough at the right time in your life, that's accessible to you, it's really easy to get addicted. I would say the number one question that I get, and the number one question I asked myself when I was in that active addiction, was, how do I stop? How do I stop? Stopping is very easy. Yes. Stopping is just stopping. You're not stuck because you don't know how to stop. You do know how to stop. The part. Stopping is a simple part. It's what to do once you stop. That's the tricky part. That is not one size fits all. What I had to do is different than what you're gonna have to do. Not everyone is a woman. Not everyone is a mother. Not everyone is a partner. Not everyone is my age. Not everyone lives in the area that I live in. Not everyone has the kind of job I have. Not everyone has the type of family that I have, the culture, the trauma, the experiences, the privileges. That is part of the journey of recovery. Once you stop, you have to find yourself. You have to sit with the feelings that you've been drinking and using to death. You have to find a way to stay joyful without those substances. Joy is different than happiness, by the way. Happiness happens when someone or something makes you happy. It comes and goes. Joy is a state of being, and until you really find it, it's going to be hard for me to explain it to you. But I have found joy in my sobriety. Does that mean I'm happy all the time? No. I get in bad moods just like everyone else. I have insecurities just like I used to have. I am just so much better equipped to deal with those things than I was when I was in active addiction.